What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin back on the show. Dustin, good to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we got Chico back on the show. Chico, it's been a minute, but it's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, you had to get me on something other than basketball. So good.
Had to try out your football knowledge here, but this is going to be a good episode. This is the Week 14 recap. A lot of good games, a lot of great action this weekend. Let's get to it with the Thursday night game. The Steelers at the Vikings. This was practically a playoff game for both teams. A must-win, considering their records. Now, me and Dustin talked last week, and after a big win against the Ravens, we were feeling like here the Steelers are about to go on a playoff run. Chico, what do you think when you see the Steelers? Do you think Big Ben's he's too old at this point, and they're kind of like hoping the defense and running game can carry him? Maybe Big Ben doesn't have another playoff run in him.
He's 38 years old.
Yeah.
He's not an old human, but for an old athlete, I don't like to call these people old when they're in their 30s.
Yeah.
But that car accident years ago really hasn't bode well for him. The past 2 years, he hasn't been very good. That defense is pretty much been their saving grace. Mike Tomlin is a good coach, but to me, they're just dead man walking. They should have probably moved on from Ben last year and tried to get a different quarterback. And their receivers are just, I mean, they're something else. They act like T.O., but don't produce good. So,
yeah. Dustin, I want to get your take on that. Dustin, I know you're a big Chase Claypool fan, and he got a lot of heat this week and this weekend for, the taunting, putting the finger in the face of the opponent, which got a 15-yard penalty, and then the celebrating in the final seconds on a first down. What did you think of Chase Claypool there in that Thursday night game?
I mean, man, the dude was excited, but yeah, you can't be dumb and get a penalty like that when you're trying to win a football game.
Yeah, and he's a great athlete. I mean, great, a future star in my opinion, but he's got to be smarter than that. Chico, I know you're going to like this reference. I'm sure you've seen games at the end where Larry Fitzgerald would make a catch and run the ball back to the official, like trying to be as quick as possible.
Yeah, that's all about awareness. I don't like the lazy take people call them selfish.
Yeah.
You want these players to show emotion, and then when they show it, you want them to taper it. So I agree fully with what Dustin said. He didn't call them stupid, which is so astute. I really hate that lazy take calling them selfish because it's not. They're just happy they made a play, but you got to have that awareness. And I don't know how old he is. He's definitely in his early 20s. So he clearly is thinking in his later careers like Larry has been the past couple.
Yeah, a lot of fans are like that. They take it so personal when a player does something like that, and they just freak out, and they there's like Steeler fans calling him out, and it's like, man, he's still young. This is a learning experience from him. He's going to be a great receiver. No need to completely, dog on the guy for one mistake. What do you think on that, Dustin?
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, he's young and all, but the Steelers really shouldn't have been down as big as they were in the first place to make it come down to that.
Yeah. It was mind-blowing to me. I picked the Steelers to win this game, and they get down 29-0. And I was just like, I walked away from the game for 5 minutes because I was like, this game's over. And I come back, and the Steelers had scored a touchdown and just intercepted Kirk Cousins. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to sit down now. And it turned out to be a good game, which is all we wanted out of this. Chico, what do you think of the Vikings? They get a big win. They're 6-7 now, but I just don't see anybody else in this division making the playoffs other than Green Bay. Do you agree?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that Kirk Cousins I think he's a good quarterback, and I don't use that term lightly. He's not Alex Leak. I think that's his name.
Smith. That's me.
Alex Smith. You got Alex Smith. He's not Alex Smith. I think Alex Smith probably would have that team with maybe 2 more wins on their record. But I think he's a decent quarterback. They got a good receiver. I think they have a lot of injuries though to their linebacking core though.
They got a lot of injuries all around, yeah. And
I just don't agree that these injuries, they play a part in everyone's game. But when you constantly are losing your starters, I mean, the Ravens, for God's sake, are just decimated.
Yeah.
And you can only do next man up for so long before there's no more men. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Absolutely. And you look at the NFL, the injuries has been an issue forever. And the genius owners are like, hey, you know what we should do? Let's add another game.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm all for with this. I honestly thought if they add more games, they should expand the roster.
Yeah,
like they shouldn't be 53 man roster. They should expand it to a 60-man team roster.
Yeah,
and then that will give you more bodies, more people to get into the league, and more. I don't know about more cap, but it should be more cap because there's more games. But
yeah,
I just think they should expand this roster. One more game it's a lot on these bodies.
Dustin, what did you think? Safety Harrison Smith. I mean, the Steelers climb all the way back into it. Ben Roethlisberger hits Pat Freiermuth, the rookie tight end, in the hands in the end zone, and Harrison Smith with a game-winning pass breakup. The Steelers were that close to tying that game up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big-time play by a big-time player in the moments that mattered. So, but I do want to say something. The Vikings are not a terrible team. They're just, I mean, they should really only have 2 or 3 losses, but they just don't know how to finish.
Yeah. They play at the Bears in Week 15 on Monday Night Football. They should be able to win that. We'll see, though. The Bears have kind of had their number at times. But the Vikings need this, a must-win for the Vikings to get back to 500. And, if they win out and go 10-7, they'll make the playoffs. But can they win out? Do they finish 9-8, 8-9, something like that?
No, I don't see them winning out.
Yeah. Now, so if the Vikings do beat the Bears, they'll be on a 2-game winning streak. But their next 2 games are versus the Rams and at Green Bay. So 2 tough games coming up for the Vikings.
Yeah, they're not winning out, bro.
Steelers fall to 6-1. Last place in the AFC North, and they'll play the Titans in Week 15. Dustin, we were hyping the Steelers last week, and this is how tight the AFC North is. 1 loss bumps them from second down to last place. That loss pretty much knocks them out of the playoffs. Do you agree?
I would have to say no, because, I mean, crazy things have happened this year, and Baltimore doesn't look that great to me. The Bengals don't look that great. I mean, it's still wide open in my opinion.
That's true. The division is wide open, but if you look, Steelers at home against the Titans next week, can the Steelers win that?
Titans have struggled themselves, so I would appreciate the Steelers winning it to help out Indy, because that is still 5, but,
Yep. All right, well, let's move on to the next game here. Cowboys at Washington, a big game. 8-4 Cowboys at 6-6 Washington. Washington brings a 4-game winning streak into this game, and a win would put them just 1 game back to the Cowboys. But Taylor Heineke gets hurt, and the Cowboys find a way to win. Kind of a sloppy win for the Cowboys, but they still get it done. Chico, did you see any of this game? Dak Prescott with a bad pick 6 that let Washington back into it. What do you think of the Cowboys? They're 9-4, but they haven't really, they don't look like a Super Bowl contender yet. What do you think on the Cowboys?
When I see the Cowboys, I think of a better version of the Ravens.
Yeah.
They have potential to go deep in the playoffs, but unlike the Ravens, Cowboys just are self-inflicted. And I don't know what's wrong with Dak. He's out there playing, so I can't give him the injured excuse. He might be hurt though.
Yeah.
But I really that team is just waiting to implode when they make the playoffs, because that division is so trash for like the past 10 years almost. But I'm not putting any money against them not winning that division. I don't think they would have won if Tyler didn't get hurt, though.
Yeah, I know. This is
Dak was horrible.
Yep, this is a type of game
bad.
that you see Washington win a lot, and the Cowboys with these high expectations and can't put away bad teams like Washington. This time they do.
Yeah.
Dustin, what'd you think? I mean, Dak didn't really impress. Tyler Heineke got hurt. How much stock do you put in? I mean, it's still a big win in the standings for the Cowboys, but going into this, December and January football, how much do you trust this Cowboys team?
I think it's going to be the same old Cowboy team.
Yep.
There and then be unsuccessful in the playoffs. And I mean, we can all tell since Dak has had that shin injury or whatever it was, he just hasn't been the same.
Now, I credit Dan Quinn. I feel like bringing in defensive coordinator Dan Quinn has really helped the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs leading the NFL in interceptions, and Micah Parsons has been on an absolute tear. 7th in the NFL in sacks with 12, and he has 9.5 sacks over the last 6 games. Dustin, what is your take on Micah Parsons? Do you think he should have gone higher in the draft?
Well, yeah, when we did the mock draft, I had him going, in my opinion, should have been top 5, but
yeah,
he's definitely a star in the making and should win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely. And Chico, Trayvon Diggs, the younger brother of Stephon Diggs, and there's some talk about, a lot of comparisons between him and Deion Sanders leading the NFL in interceptions. Are you a fan of Trayvon Diggs?
Not until you said Deion Sanders, but I think they need to pump the brakes a little bit on Parsons. I watched a lot of Cowboy games, and this dude is not getting the the TJ Watt or the Aaron Donald or the dude from Cleveland, because that dude right there,
Myles Garrett,
straight up, he's scary.
Yeah,
but he's definitely going to win Rookie of the Year. They could end that thing right now. He'll win it. But it's the Diggs kid. I think he's very good. I don't put him on the Patrick Peterson level though.
Yeah,
he just isn't, to me, a technically sound cornerback. He's not even on the level of Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey. If I had to pick, honestly, I would really have to look at if you make my All-Pro. Just because you get a lot of interceptions don't mean you can make All-Pro.
Yeah,
Clay made the most interceptions one year. He wasn't an All-Pro.
Yeah, he's still young though. I like Trayvon Diggs. We'll see if he continues to improve.
He's a second-year player. He's doing real good.
Yeah. Real quick, Dustin. Week 15, it'll be the 6-7 Washington football team at the 6-7 Eagles. Tyler Heineke is expected to start. Where do you see that game going? I'm leaning Philly.
I got to go with Washington, man.
All right. What do you think? What do you think, Chico? Well, go ahead, Dustin.
Like you guys said, and I believe this, if Tyler Heineke wouldn't have got injured in that Dallas game, they probably would have walked out with the win. So,
Chico, you think they get Heineke back, Washington can beat Philly? And what are your thoughts on the Eagles with Jalen Hurts and those guys?
I think they are a dumpster fire, to be honest with you. I don't like that team. I don't really like that team. And I had my expectations a little bit higher for the Redskins, but since that boy from Ohio State went down, Chase, they really aren't the same team.
Yeah.
And that's like his injury pretty much vindicates me to let me know that defensive players should get more nods for MVPs, because his impact on that team, they probably could win at least 2 more games with him on the team, just being out there, because they are a completely different team with him gone. They are not getting any pressure compared to when he was on the team. But yeah, I think that right now they're better than
Philly.
Philly, yeah.
I think also losing starting tight end Logan Thomas was a big loss as well. So Washington fighting injuries as well. I think, when I look at this Washington Eagles game, it's kind of like I don't expect either team to make the playoffs, so it's not a huge deal to me. But we'll see. The winner gets back to 500, so it's going to be meaningful to the team for sure. Let's go Jags Titans real quick. The Titans shut out the Jags 20-0, improved to 9-4. Chico, you know Urban Meyer well from the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. I'm sure you're not a huge fan. He leaves college and decides to come to the pros, and Trevor Lawrence falls into his lap in Jacksonville. But they're 2-10, and it's a complete. Speaking of dumpster fire, the Jaguars are Marvin Jones, former Lions wide receiver, getting into a heated argument with Urban Meyer. Sources coming out saying Urban Meyer calling his assistant coaches losers, and the players saying that Urban doesn't treat them like men. You get that a lot when you see a college player used to, talking to college kids, and the adjustment to the pros where these are grown men with families and they don't get talked to like that. They're not kids anymore. And Urban Meyer, like a lot of these college coaches, is having trouble with the transition. What do you think on Urban Meyer? I think he's out of the league after this season. I think he'll, be back in college real soon. Do you agree?
I don't like the dude.
Yeah.
Not even because of the record with Michigan. That had nothing to do with it. I don't like any of his hires, really. His hires have been checkered from jump.
Yep.
And he also is he's an a-hole. I don't even think you should talk to college kids the way he does.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. These are grown men. Even the kids that are in college are grown. Like, they go fight for our country. You grown. It don't matter how you look at them. They have no power. And now the NIL helps them so they can voice it a little bit more. But I don't think he should have been put in as a head coach anyway. I'm sorry. He should have got an assistant coach position, maybe like offensive coordinator or something. But I didn't see him.
He should have just stayed in college.
In Jacksonville.
I don't know what he's doing trying to come to the pros.
He could have stayed in Ohio. He should have stayed in Ohio.
Exactly. And Dustin, real quick, so just last week I said that Urban Meyer, like, if he wanted to leave, he would have left already for the USC job, for the LSU job, for any of those jobs. And so based on that, I was like, he's committed. I think he's going to stay 2 years. This coming out here this week, I don't see how the Jags bring him back for another year. Do you agree, Dustin?
I mean, yeah, I think, unfortunately, I have a different feeling about Urban Meyer. I like him because I think he is a winner. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that his attitude, and it seems like everywhere he goes, there's some dirty laundry about him that, somebody doesn't like, or they don't like his coaching style, but
yeah,
I just don't see him lasting very long. So if I could guess, it'll probably be the end of the season for him.
I think so, and I think that Jacksonville's going to regret having him in here for a year with Trevor Lawrence. It's not even the fact that Trevor Lawrence is playing like a rookie. He hasn't improved or shown any much of development this year at all. He throws a career-high 4 interceptions on Sunday, and even the Jaguars' greats, wide receiver Jimmy Smith, wants to move on from Urban Meyer. I think his time, is the clock's ticking, and I think he's going to be out in Jacksonville. Chico, Trevor Lawrence, one of the best quarterback prospects of all time, and Urban Meyer's not getting much out of him. Are you worried about Trevor Lawrence's development with a guy like Urban Meyer?
He's in the league now. He's a grown man, I believe. He's married. He's got to understand this is a business.
Yeah.
And you got to move on from coaches just like they move on from you. If he is attached to Urban Meyer and he can't develop, then that's really on him. But he watched this rookie year up. It wasn't a great year.
Yeah.
That thing was over like a couple of weeks ago when there was rumblings of him being fired. I don't see him coming back. I'm surprised they let him stay on this long. I think they're only doing that because they got a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
But other than that, I would have cut bait with him as soon as possible and start looking for a different coach or seeing someone in the other staff. But I wanted to say something about what Dustin said about his coaching style. I don't believe just because you're a winner that affords you the right to stay at a job. And I don't believe that if you are belittling people and making them feel less than, you should be able to keep it. You can win, but he's getting all the best prospects in the Midwest. So you should be winning. The same way with Alabama. They're getting all the best prospects, but he's not treating those kids like pieces of crap. He's had tons of first-round picks, and none of them say they felt less than human, unlike Urban.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really depends on that person.
And that's the thing is that when you're winning, a lot of that stuff gets swept under the rug. And at a university like Ohio State, they're going to sweep that stuff under the rug and help you if you're winning.
Oh, for sure.
And that's something that wouldn't translate to, say, Notre Dame, is they would call you out on that right away. And so I think that's part of the reason Urban Meyer stayed, but it's just clearly a complete dumpster fire in Jacksonville. And, I just don't see him. And that's the thing with a team like the Jaguars. When you've been bad for so long, you make weird and different hires to try. You're desperate to try and win. And so that's when you go reach for a guy like Urban Meyer. When he was hired by the Jags, I said right then and there, this is a bad decision. It's a bad hire.
Yep.
And so it makes sense that they're struggling. You want to add something, Dustin?
Yeah, see, I mean, I might have said it wrong, and I apologize. I wasn't trying to say just because you're a winner, it's okay to treat people that way. What I was trying to say was, he's going to get a coaching job wherever he went for the simple fact that he is a winner.
Oh, the benefit of a doubt. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's the thing is they should have learned and cut ties with him sooner. And the fact that it's gone on this long shows you how poorly run the Jaguars are.
One more thing. One more thing real quick, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about the developmental of Trevor Lawrence, man. I got to be honest. I don't think it's the coach. I think it's just the whole franchise, man. Trevor Lawrence kind of got drafted to.
Okay, I thought you was gonna say he was a bust. I'm like, what? Okay,
No.
The whole team is bad.
All right. The Seahawks blow out the Texans 33-13. Game was closer than the final score indicates. The Seahawks on a 2-game winning streak. Dustin, after being 3-8, the Seahawks have now put together back-to-back games scoring 30 or more points and are on a 2-game winning streak at 5-8. The problem is, in Week 15, they go at the Rams. What kind of chance do you give the Seahawks in LA?
Not a very good chance. I mean, I got played a full on Monday, and the Rams look pretty good. So,
yeah. And we'll get into that in a little bit. That was a fun game. But this is where I differ, and this is something I kind of want you guys to understand, is you guys know the NFL is a week-to-week league. Like, just because the Rams look good on Monday night, I would put very little on that translating to Week 15. So I'm actually picking the Seahawks to win in LA. Now, I could be wrong. I could easily be wrong because the Rams are the better team. But, man, it's a week-to-week league. And I know, like, Chico, what do you think of the Seahawks? They got Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Quandre Diggs, but they're 5-8 and you pretty much need to win out just to have a shot to make the playoffs.
Well, Russell's been kind of banged up a little bit. I don't know about the receivers, if they're going to be playing.
Yeah,
if
they
all
are.
the receivers are healthy.
Yep, Gerald Everett.
It might be a decent game, but I'm not banking on them. They pretty much are Russell or bust.
Yeah, and it sucks to lose Jamal Adams for the season, one of their star safeties.
I wouldn't call him a star safety.
He's a
starter safety.
No, he's a star. He's a beast. But what do you feel about your boy Quandre Diggs, former Lion? He's been tearing it up in Seattle.
I think he's good. He's okay. I don't think he's. See, I'm really not into their defense anymore. Like their defense have
Well,
imploded, and their draft picks have been pretty terrible. And that safety to pay 2 first-round picks for him while Russell was still in his prime was too big of a risk. He's more of like a line-bred or a linebacker hybrid.
yeah,
And
I know. I like Jamal Adams a lot, and I think so. They're not the Legion of Boom anymore, but Quandre Diggs is one of my favorite defenders in the game, and Jamal Adams is a hard hitter. He doesn't play your prototypical safety. He's he's like a linebacker safety hybrid, and he's so much better when you ask him to rush the passer. It's just the Seahawks defense, as they currently aren't constructed to play that way. What do you think, Dustin? Losing Jamal Adams is a big loss. They still got Quandre Diggs, and it's going to be a tough matchup against the Rams.
Yeah, but I still think that they're going to lose, man. I mean, Odell Beckham's pretty good, man. And, I mean, Cooper Kupp is unstoppable. So, with Jamal Adams being out and helping over the top, man, I think they're not going to have a chance.
What if Stafford serves up one of them pick sixes to Quandre Diggs?
I mean, then he does, but
here's something. Check this stat out. This is crazy. This is a little bit of a mind-blowing stat. So the Seahawks' all-time greatest wide receiver is this guy. He's old school. His name's Steve Largent. And
I know him. Yeah, he's good.
He was real good. He's a Hall of Famer. Tyler Lockett joins him as the only Seattle wide receivers in franchise history with 3 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards. Now, that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is Tyler Lockett shares the same birthday as Steve Largent and was born in the same city as Steve Largent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But Steve Largent was averaging like 16 to 20 yards per catch.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler's not doing that.
Largent was the shit. And Tyler Lockett benefits greatly from having a quarterback like Russell Wilson, for sure.
I just think that that team is just needing to implode, and they need a new coach, and they need to build around Russell.
That's the problem, Chico.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
They need a new coach.
I'm putting 100% on this. Russell Wilson will be traded this offseason from Seattle.
Good. Send him to Pittsburgh. I would like to see that.
Pittsburgh, I think he's going to the Saints with Sean Payton.
Ooh, that would be nice, but that team is...
We'll see what happens with Jameis Winston, though.
Yeah, I would rather him go to Pittsburgh just because that AFC North would be unquestioned the best division in all of football by almost a mile.
Pittsburgh would be a lot of fun to watch. Denver Broncos are also in the talks, and he even mentioned the New York Giants.
Yeah. No.
What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Going Giants would probably be a bad, move on his part.
What do you think? Go ahead.
I like him in New Orleans. I mean, you give Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, man, that's sky's the limit.
What do you think on me saying 100% he's traded?
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
In the offseason. He's not staying in Seattle.
And I think the problem is Russell Wilson sees the Seahawks as not trying to do everything in their power to compete for championships. And Russell Wilson cares about his legacy long term, and he wants to compete for championships. So he's going to go somewhere that will.
Well, that's why I like the Rams, because they go all out for their star player and AD, who was in his prime.
Yep.
You only get generational players like that once in a while. You got to go all out. There's no telling, these draft picks don't always pan out. So go get you a Jalen Ramsey, go get you Matt Stafford, and try to win now. They're the 4th best team in that division, and that's why I said Jamal Adams wasn't really a factor, because everyone in their division is a throwing team.
No, that's true. It's a very tough division.
and he's not a cover safety.
Yeah.
He's a hitting safety.
And that's
There's
the thing
no
is,
big running backs in that division.
well, that's why it was so much to
in the
give
AFC
up,
South.
because I don't think that he's a great fit in that defense. And Jamal Adams needs to be in the right defense, and I don't think Seattle is it. And so, yeah, I think Russell Wilson gets traded. I think Pete Carroll resigns, and I think the Seahawks are looking at a major rebuild in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Now, real quick,
Agreed.
Raiders-Chiefs. So, Dustin, I want to get your opinion on this. The Raiders decide pregame, hey, let's hold a team meeting on the Chiefs logo at midfield. This is one of the hottest teams in football, coming in on a 5-game winning streak in Arrowhead. The Raiders haven't been playing their best football, and they do something like that to fire up and piss off the Chiefs. And from the opening play of the game, a fumble return for a touchdown, the Chiefs just kicked the ass of the Raiders, 48-9. Dustin, what the hell were the Raiders thinking?
I mean, they fired up a team that they shouldn't have, and but the Raiders, I think that they're done. You might as well just forward to next season and figure out who your head coach is going to be. And it's kind of sad because I had high expectations from Derek Carr this season, but
losing Henry Ruggs and their head coach is going to do a lot to disrupt a team, and I think the Raiders have had a hard time overcoming that. Chico, the Chiefs, a lot of people wrote the Chiefs off. They were at 3-4. Now they've won 6 in a row. They're trending in the right direction at the right time. The Chiefs are looking like contenders again. Do you think we'll see Mahomes and Kansas City back in the Super Bowl?
I didn't write them off.
Yeah.
I didn't write them off at all because I was watching the games and he wasn't playing good, and they weren't losing they weren't
getting blown out.
They weren't. They were losing a couple of close games,
yep.
And they got their butts beat by San Diego though.
Yeah,
but
LA.
Other than that, I mean, all the other games were like possession games. Mahomes having his worst career, and now they're on the roll. He had a big game against the Raiders. I'm just not. The defense is playing way better. And
it is.
People can poo-poo on them because they haven't really played anyone, but the defense is balling right now, and the offense is starting to click. Once you get Mahomes on his tear, it's pretty much lights out for the AFC. And I don't really see anyone else beating them.
I see one team that's going to beat them in the playoffs, but we'll get to that in a second. Dustin, I want to ask you, so the Chiefs defense, Chico is right on. The Chiefs defense is balling out of control. 3 straight games now, they've held their opponent under 10 points. So the Chiefs defense is now a story, unlike in past years. I credit the midseason trade for Melvin Ingram as having a big factor in that linebacker. What do you think on that, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a great trade, but the Chiefs were just tired of hearing how they were, people didn't believe that they could win and that they were going to have a big downfall, and they heard all that and stepped up their game.
Now, quickly becoming one of my favorite players on the Chiefs. What do you think of this name, Dustin? Running back Derek Gore. He might be a factor down the stretch here in December and January. If they can, get him some carries, he runs behind his pads and delivers hits. I'm a big fan of this guy, not just because of his last name either.
Yeah, Sunday was my first time seeing him play, and when he exploded for that 55-yard touchdown run, I think the guy is going to be huge.
Yeah, 5 years from now, you're going to have a hard time explaining to people how this guy's not related to Frank Gore.
No.
They're going to be like, that's got to be his little brother.
No, I saw Frank Gore in Miami.
He's no
Frank Gore.
He was a beast, though.
Yeah, he's no Frank Gore, but he's a decent running back. They get any type of running game for the Chiefs. It's pretty much lights out.
So here's a stat. This is going to blow your mind. I don't know if you guys read the notes or not, and if you did, try and skip that. But, Dustin, or Chico, ask you first. When you look at Tyreek Hill and the weapon that he's been, the playmaker he's been in all those years with Mahomes, how many seasons of 100 catches would you think Tyreek Hill would have right now?
Tyreek, I don't think he has any.
He has 0. Dustin, are you?
Yeah, I didn't think he had any.
Dustin, are you surprised by that though? I mean, he's Mahomes' number one option along with Travis Kelce. Are you shocked that he doesn't have 100 catches in a season?
I mean, not really, because if you watch Chiefs games, Mahomes spreads the ball around.
Yeah.
Well,
you guys are just saying that now.
No. Not only that, because when you watch him play, when he breaks away, he's a version of Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
He might not have 100 catches in a year or even 50. He'll get you 1,200 yards because he'll take it to the house so often.
Yeah, he's a home run threat.
Type of player,
yep.
Yeah, he's the type of player that won't have a whole bunch of catches like Thomas or Cooper.
Yeah,
like he's just not that type of player, and that's fine.
But
the dude gets plenty of yak,
and that's the problem. He is. He's a Ferrari or whatever. And that's the problem for defenses this year. Is Tyreek Hill is on pace for 100 catches. He's already at 90 for the first time in his career.
That's good.
Now,
yes, he should have 100 already. All the drops.
That's true. A lot of drops in Kansas City. They got to get that cleaned up. Now, big game coming up tomorrow night. Or no, Thursday night. I forgot this is Tuesday. Thursday night football, must-watch TV. You guys got to watch this game. The 9-4 Chiefs at the 8-5 Chargers. This is not only a red-hot Chiefs team coming in on a 6-game winning streak, but the Chargers, who are a pretty damn good team, on their own, are going for the sweep. They already beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. This is in LA at SoFi Stadium. This is going to be a big-ass game. Dustin, who do you think wins Chiefs at Chargers on Thursday night?
Man, Kansas City is too hot right now, and Mahomes is starting to play better, and that defense is playing better. I got to go with Kansas City.
All right. Are you agreeing with that, Chico?
I'm agreeing. I don't believe he's having a lot of distractions in his personal life anymore. I believe that had something to do with it in the beginning. His brother and his wife and mom. I don't think that's a factor anymore. All that stuff has died down, and he's just focused on kicking butt. And I don't see them losing this game. And to be honest, I think they could potentially win out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the way they're playing right now, they're red hot. I could see it. But I'm going against both of you. I'm taking the LA Chargers on Thursday night. I'm all in on this. I think Chargers win this game. And if they do, they'll take over first place in the AFC West just like that.
Are they in the playoff hunt right now or no?
They are 8-5. And if they win, they'll be 9-5, and they'll have the tiebreaker on Kansas City with the sweep.
I don't see them doing much damage. I think that I think he's a little bit too green.
Yeah.
And it shows a lot.
Well, this is a prove-it game.
Really doing much.
This is like a playoff game. Herbert and the Chargers need to prove they're for real on Thursday night. You have to, if you're going to go on the playoff run and be a contender, you have to win games like Thursday night. Dustin, what do you think? Is Justin Herbert and the Chargers good enough? I mean, if they win, they'll be in first place and a sweep on the Chiefs. That'll be quite the statement. Can the Chargers do this? Or is Kansas City just too hot? What do you think?
Again, I'm going to go with what I said. I think Kansas City is too hot, and this team is peaking at the right time, and they're dangerous. I mean, they're my pick to potentially win the AFC. Yeah.
What are your thoughts, though? If the Chargers pull this off, they'll have first place and a sweep and the tiebreaker over Kansas City. What then will you say about the Chargers?
Who's in the playoffs?
I don't think that the Chargers are just that great of a football team.
Okay, you're not a believer in the Chargers.
No, I'm not.
Okay. And then
I wouldn't put stock in that, man. I wouldn't put any stock in it.
Yeah.
They win both games, and then if they play the Chiefs in the playoffs, they'll lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like two of the last three teams played
They won both of the regular season games in the division, and then played their division rival in the playoffs and lost.
I love
So
those
that doesn't mean
matchups
nothing.
when it's like a sweep and they're coming in for revenge and it's a third matchup of the year. Those are always some great games.
Mhm.
And then the Raiders. So a treat for us this weekend. We get some Saturday football. NFL on Saturday, 2 games, and at
Oh, really?
1:30 p.m. It's the 6 and 7 Raiders at the 7 and 6 Browns. Chico, the Browns have struggled, and Baker Mayfield struggled. They traded away Odell Beckham Jr. But if they beat the Raiders and get to 8 and 6, they got just as good of a shot as anybody in that division of making the playoffs.
No, they don't.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a believer in the Browns, but their record will be right there.
The record can say whatever it wants, but they're going to the playoffs. They're not going to the playoffs. The Ravens are going to limp into the playoffs and then get mollywopped.
Okay,
They are not winning that division.
I agree. What do you?
He's been exposed this season.
Who's that?
The fraud he is. That is Baker Mayfield.
Baker. I was just going to ask you. Yeah.
And I can't remember when he got drafted.
A couple of years ago.
Definitely the third best quarterback in that division, if not the fourth.
Now,
he's a bust.
Dustin, do you agree with that? I mean, if the Browns win, they're 8 and 6, and the way the Raiders are playing right now, I give the Browns a decent shot to win this. Dustin, what do you think? Who are you picking, Raiders Browns?
I mean, the Browns do win this game for the simple fact that I said I think the Raiders are done. But
yeah,
I gotta say something here. You guys have to understand. Baker Mayfield is playing on a torn labrum.
He's got a lot of injuries. He's got shoulder, knee, and ankle injuries. But yeah, go ahead, Dustin.
He's got his team, 7 and 6, above 500, playing with a torn labrum. I think that's pretty impressive.
It is, but you gotta perform like it. You get kudos for being tough and playing through injuries, but no one's gonna care if you miss the playoffs. You gotta lead this team to the playoffs, and we'll see. I mean, expectations were super high in Cleveland, and it starts on Saturday. If they don't beat the Raiders on Saturday, we can just put this team away.
Yeah, but they should beat the Raiders. If they don't, then there's a problem in Cleveland, but they definitely should beat the Raiders.
Absolutely, and I get the skepticism on Cleveland. I'm right there with it.
Okay, I got to say this before you go on to the next one.
All right.
They have one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Yep.
They have very good tandem with running backs.
Yep.
And one of the best offensive lines coming into the season.
Yep.
Last I checked, that offensive line isn't banged up like he allegedly is. Sit your butt down if you can't go out there and produce.
Well,
trash.
You're gonna put Case Keenum out there though? You trust Case Keenum?
I would. Case Keenum would give you better results than he is. He's not even giving you a 2-to-1 ratio. Yeah. I think he's got more interceptions than touchdowns this past 6 games.
Yeah.
Like, since his alleged injury started happening, and the dude from Odell got 3 touchdowns in 3 games. It took him almost 3 years to get one with him. So I'm not sold on Baker at all. He had one good run last year, and people have been hyping him up. And no, I don't believe he's not a 10-year quarterback. That's why they haven't even given him an extension.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm not going for it. And they're doing the same thing they're doing to him as my boy Lamar in Baltimore. But I trust that organization more than I trust the Browns.
Oh yeah, what have the Browns done
he's
to
get his money?
Yeah.
But the Browns,
Dustin, real quick, if you were running the Browns, would you give Baker Mayfield, big money? Would you sign him to a long extension?
I mean, I probably wouldn't give him, what the top tier quarterbacks are getting right now, just because, he hasn't proved he's good enough, but I think he's still, good enough to get you in the playoffs, just not win it all.
Well, what if a lot of people say he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's, very strong self-belief. What if he laughs at that deal? What if he says, I want Mahomes or Lamar, Dak Prescott money? What if he says that? Are you paying him still or no?
Hell no.
I like it.
He better go to the CFL and try to get that money.
No, someone will pay him. The Lions will give Baker Mayfield a max contract probably.
But man, the Bears need to.
All right. Quickly, since we're on the topic, let's go Ravens-Browns. I mean, Lamar Jackson gets knocked out of the game early with a sprained ankle. Lucky that it's just a sprained ankle. It looked like it could have been a lot worse, maybe an Achilles or a tendon. But thankfully, it's just a sprained ankle, and they're expecting him to play next week in a big game against the Packers. But the Browns led 24-6 in this game with the Ravens playing with their backup quarterback in Tyler Huntley and almost blew the game. I mean, to your point, Chico, the Browns and Baker Mayfield didn't exactly put this Ravens team away without Lamar.
That's why I can't trust them.
Yeah.
This division is the Ravens, the
Bengals,
Cincinnati,
yep.
and the Steelers. He's the fourth best quarterback in that division, and you can't win if you're not even the top two in your division.
Yeah.
He's not. I'm taking every quarterback above him right now, except for Ben. I'm not taking him above him. But the dude he's not good. I would trust Ben in the clutch more than I trust him.
Yeah.
He's just too overrated. I don't care about the Cowboys. I love that part about him. Like I'm all for that. Bring all that smoke. But
now,
he's not very good.
Now, Dustin, real quick. So the Ravens cut the lead to 24-15 with 9 minutes to go. And there's this fad in the NFL, and tell me if this makes any sense to you. You score a touchdown, is 24-15. You kick the extra point, and then you're down 8 with 9 minutes to go. Instead, John Harbaugh decides to go for the 2-point conversion to, make it a 7-point game. But he misses, and now you're down 9 and down 2 possessions. Does that make any sense to you, Dustin?
Absolutely not, and he should have learned his lesson from the previous week. But
yeah, they went for 2 against Pittsburgh, missed that, and lost that game. Like, Chico, where do you fall on this? What the hell are they doing going for 2 there? If you miss, now you're down 2 possessions, an extra point, it's still a 1-possession game.
What was the time you said again? I'm sorry, I didn't.
9 minutes. Plenty of time. 9 minutes left in the game. Yeah,
so at that point, he already got the touchdown. I would roll the dice. You got trust in your team, but they didn't have Humphrey, and that I wouldn't have did it at that point. Like, you got to know the personnel. You're injured probably more than anyone else in the whole league when it comes to starters.
But the thing is, so I agree with that logic. You're saying you're injured, you don't trust the defense, but if we go back and watch it, the Ravens defense made a stop and got the ball back. So if they had kicked the extra point, they would have had opportunity to tie it, but they didn't. So, the thinking is, from John Harbaugh's perspective, look, my injury's banged up, or my defense is banged up. Can we stop Baker Mayfield's offense? If you don't believe in that, then go for 2. But the fact is, like you just said, how good is Baker Mayfield in this Browns team right now? The defense did make a stop, and if they had kicked the extra point, they would have been in position to tie the game. So that's why
field goal.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of keeping it a 1-score game. So I know it sucks to be down 8 because you need the 2-point conversion at some point, but I'd rather be down 8 than down 9 100% of the time.
Well, he just misjudged that. Like, go for the 7.
Yeah.
Because you have a Hall of Fame kicker.
Exactly.
And Tucker. I would have had a little bit more faith in him. I think the math seems like he was just trying to go for the win.
Yes.
With 1 shot. And I'm just like, I don't believe that. It was plenty of time. You got 9 minutes. Get that field goal, play it out, and then try to go for a 50-yard field goal. I would have did that and then just hope for a tie or something.
Yeah.
But just because you are down by 3 doesn't mean you can't get a touchdown. I mean, like, you could have got 2 touchdowns. Don't think you got to go for a field goal. I don't like that small mind thinking.
Well,
but I have no problem with coaches going for 2 points, though. Like, I'm all for it.
Well, I'm for it if it's going to work out. And I just think the numbers this year alone, the numbers are so many teams are going for 2 and failing. And Dustin, real quick, to the point, if you don't trust your kicker to make an extra point, then okay, go for 2. But Justin Tucker is the best kicker in the game, and at that point, he was 24 for 24 on extra points this season.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, let the best kicker in the world kick the football. But
Yeah.
I guess John Paul just likes being aggressive, which sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. But in this instance, you have to kick the extra point.
I'm going to go out and say it. I might get some criticism for this, but John Harbaugh is fucking up. This Ravens team had the best record in football 2 weeks ago. And now they're on a 2-game losing streak because of 2 coaching decisions that cost his team chances of winning. And they've got a matchup with the Green Bay Packers coming up in Week 15. My prediction, the Ravens are about to be on a 3-game losing streak at the wrong time of the year.
All right, I have a question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so this says I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. I mean, these last 3 games against Cleveland and the first, he's thrown 4 picks. I mean, he's kind of struggling himself.
Well, I think that, I mean,
call me crazy, but
well, he's got to prove it. So, Lamar Jackson is a great regular season quarterback. He has broken records. He's done everything he needs to do in the regular season. But it's imperative for the Ravens to finish strong. They need to win the division. They need a home playoff game. And to me, the playoffs are baby steps. Like, they couldn't get past the Titans 2 years ago. They finally got past the Titans last year, but then couldn't beat. Who did the Ravens lose to in the Bills? Couldn't beat Josh Allen's Bills. This is supposed to be the year that the Ravens go on a deep playoff run. Now, injuries are playing a major role. Chico, I'm interested in your thought on this. I mean, because you can't put all the blame on Lamar Jackson because
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
I was about to say the injuries have played a role, and I'm not saying that that's an excuse. But if you don't have the Joes out there, you can't win games, and everybody knows that. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And you might not believe in him, Dustin, but I sure as hell believe in him a lot more than I do than Baker Mayfield.
Oh yeah.
And you sound like you believe in Baker more than you do in Lamar. So his team right now, they're a running team still. I love the organization and I like the coach. Lamar, he's got to do better, obviously. But you're talking about he's a great regular season quarterback, Alex.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in the league for 12 years.
Exactly.
Like,
he's still young.
He's a young quarterback.
Yeah.
So he lost his first 2 playoff games. The first year, they weren't even expected to get to the playoffs. And he had a horrible game. The second year, he won MVP. He should have beat them, but Derrick Henry made himself known to the entire league that year. So that's no shade on that. They won the third year, and then he got beat by the second best team in the conference. So, I mean, like, these losses they're easy to be explained. He's not playing horrible.
And it goes to show you,
great either, though.
It goes to show just how tough it is to compete for championships in the NFL. And if you've got the team to do it, you could have the roster to compete for a championship and get too many injuries, and then your opportunity is gone. So that's why it's so important to maximize every opportunity you get. And that's why it's tough for the Ravens this year due to all the injuries. But
the injuries, they probably will be number 1 in the whole conference. I have that much faith in them.
So part of it isn't just Lamar. Part of it's coaching being too aggressive and costing the team wins. I mean, if they had maybe smarter coaching decisions the last 2 weeks, maybe this team is 10-3 instead of 8-5 too. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be more. You have to be a little bit more aggressive when your team they don't have their starting corners, man. They don't have Humphrey or Jimmy. I mean, like, how can you win without your starting Pro Bowl, All-Pro corners? Like
hey,
you just aren't winning in a passing league.
but the thing is that they were there. They were close to winning with all those injuries. They were in position to win despite all those injuries. And so it's
What I'm
tough.
saying is,
It's tough.
you can do it for a couple of weeks. They've been doing this the whole year with people off the street playing running back. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah,
And
it's
Lamar's taking way more beating this year than he has probably in the past 2 years combined
it's
because of it.
it's crazy to see
It's not that good
Devontae
of a quarterback
Freeman
yet.
doing his thing in Baltimore. I thought that dude was done.
Yeah, he is nice.
Now, Dustin. So does that answer your question, Dustin, on the Lamar thing, or?
Yeah, and again, I wasn't completely saying he ain't great. He is, but from what I've seen this season is I felt like he took a little bit of a step back than forward.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility on him, and you gotta. I wouldn't put it all on Lamar. I think that John Harbaugh is needs to take some blame for some of these losses as well. So we'll see what happens. Let's go to real quick. Saints beat the Jets 30-9, a blowout win. Taysom Hill gets a win. Alvin Kamara returned, played pretty well. So that'll set up Saints at Bucks Sunday Night Football in Week 15. Dustin, last year the Saints swept the Bucks. Do you see they won the first matchup? Do you think there's any chance the Saints sweep the Bucks again, or is this a Tampa Bay win next week?
No way. This is a Tampa win. Tampa Bay is peaking at the right moment, just like they did last year. So
Yep. Now, go ahead.
Tampa is a very dangerous team right now.
Yep. Now, Chico, real quick, I want to hear, I know you're a fan, and I am too, of Cam Newton. And he said this last offseason that there's not 32 quarterbacks better than me. I deserve to go out on my own terms. Well, the Panthers give him a shot. They bring him in, and he's still talented. He can still run you over. He can still score. But his arm accuracy just isn't there anymore. I think that his time as an NFL starter is coming to an end. What do you think on Cam Newton? I mean, a hell of a career, but maybe it's just starting to be, the injuries catching up to him.
Well, two things. One, he was never very accurate.
Yep.
And then two, his team was, once he left, was pretty much C-Mac centric. It was all Christian McCaffrey or bust.
Yep.
Their team is not very good. I mean, I'm done with blaming these players for these GMs getting millions of dollars, by the way,
for building a roster.
Together these terrible teams and then expecting amazing things to happen.
Yep.
Like that's why I can't rock with the dude in Cleveland, because they put a great team around him and he ain't doing jack.
Well, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. So they traded for Sam Darnold before they ever brought in Cam Newton. And a lot of people said this is the best opportunity for Sam Darnold to succeed here in Carolina. Do you think that was justified, or,
Well, I mean, the Jets are really showing who they are, and
it's true.
That team was terrible. They had a good couple of weeks in the beginning of the year, but the scouting report is out on Darnold. He's going to be like that great UFC quarterback Matt Leinart, a starter, or all the hype, and then he's going to be a career backup player.
Yeah, it seems that way.
They still get paid millions of dollars and have no CTE. So I mean, just get your clipboard, bro, and make your money as a backup, because he's not that dude. And Wilson is going to be right after him, shortly after. Because I thought he was a reach anyway.
Chico, what do you think? Some rumors coming out that Matt Ryan wants to be traded from the Falcons and go to a contender. He looked at what Matthew Stafford did, leaving the Lions and going to a contender like the Rams and getting one last shot to get a Super Bowl. He liked to see that. And I think Matt Ryan's trying to do the same thing, get traded out of Atlanta to a contender. Do you think Matt Ryan still has that in him, and where would you like to see him go?
His style of play is definitely something he can do at a later age. He's a pocket passer.
Yep.
But people think that he's a young dude. He's he's not a young athlete. He's in his late 30s.
Yeah.
I personally don't. I never really liked him as a quarterback. I thought he was way overrated.
Yeah.
And
28-3.
he can definitely. Yeah, he can definitely try to go to. That was not good. But he can definitely try to go to. Go to a contender. I don't know which contender he would go. Maybe the Bears.
Broncos.
I wouldn't want that to. I like Jerry Judy. I like him, and I like Surtain.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, I think they got a couple of a nice little offensive arsenal out there, but he's not gonna be no Tom Brady.
Yeah,
not Tom Brady.
Stafford.
Peyton Manning.
Oh, Peyton.
No,
oh,
Peyton
I get you, Broncos. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not that dude, and he never was to me. He's a very good quarterback, very good,
but not great.
Starting quarterback, not a Hall of Famer, and that's it.
Dustin,
and that's fine. You don't have to be a Hall of Famer to win a Super Bowl, but he ain't that dude.
Dustin, where do you think Matt Ryan would go or should go if he leaves Atlanta and do you think he's capable, if you put him in the right situation, capable of going on one more Super Bowl run in his career?
I mean, yeah, I like the guy. I mean, he is almost close to another 5,000. Well, not this year, but he has had a couple 5,000-yard seasons at the age he's been. So,
you think Denver put him with a strong defense and some weapons like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and those guys in Denver?
No, I feel like that's where AR-12 is going to go next year, is to Denver.
Yeah.
I would like that better. I would like that a lot better.
Yeah.
I will put him there and then put Matt Ryan over in Minnesota.
Can you imagine Rodgers in the same division as Mahomes?
Oh,
man.
That shit would be fire.
I want to see it. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
I wish he was 4 years younger or 5 years younger so we can get like close to 10 years of that.
Yep. All right, real quick, Giants-Chargers. Now, the Giants started backup quarterback Mike Glennon. He cleared concussion protocol, and that's all you needed to tell me. Once I found out Mike Glennon was starting, I said Chargers are going to win. Glennon not very good. And the Chargers lead 37-7 at one point and finish them off 37-21. Now, Dustin, you've heard me say this name a lot. Giants rookie linebacker Azeez Ojulari, 7.5 sacks on the season, most for a Giants rookie since 1982. How you feeling about Azeez over there in New York?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bright future. The guy's good, and that's impressive, 7.5 sacks.
Yeah, he just reminded me, he seemed like a New York pass rusher. He reminded me of a Kiwanuka or a OCU Mignora. He would just fit really well. Yeah, Justin Tuck, Strahan, all those guys. So I'm not going to say he's not Strahan. I know what you're trying to do, Chico.
Yeah, he's not Strahan or Tucker.
Yeah,
or Tuck,
but he's got
maybe a light use Menorah or something.
Yeah, he's got a good start for a rookie.
He's only a rookie though.
Yeah.
So is the quarter or the rusher for the Cowboys.
Parsons, I know. That's the crazy thing about Micah Parsons though, is he's like a linebacker with getting all these sacks. It's crazy. He's just everywhere, and it's a lot of fun to see there in Dallas. Now
they're not even using it. They're not using him right either.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go to Lions-Broncos real quick. Not a good game, but I want to focus on this. The game wasn't any good, but Chico, do you remember Demaryius Thomas, the Broncos receiver with Peyton Manning and those awesome offenses?
Yeah, I love they played tribute and then they rejected the penalty. I thought that was very respectful.
Man,
yeah,
R.I.P.
That was a class act.
R.I.P. Demaryius Thomas, one of my favorite wide receivers in the NFL. He was a beast.
He was 33.
Yeah, gone way too soon.
33.
They said it was natural complications. He had been having seizures. So that's, maybe that has something to do with some CTE or something. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
I don't.
But
it could be, but I think he might have had some other issues too, though.
Yeah,
I think that was the growing consensus. It wasn't CTE. That could have been a factor, but it was more like a genetic type of deal.
It just sucks to see him go so early, and all the reports are that he was such a great guy. All his teammates loved him. Dustin, what did you think? Seeing the Broncos, showing him some love, and even the fans, the team, the players, everyone. No one really had anything bad to say about Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very sad situation. He is a good guy. It's the fact that he still was young.
Yeah.
And he retired just last year, right?
Not long ago, a couple years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
2 years ago, and I mean, at 33, man, that's just too young to have a life taken.
Man, I was trying. I wanted to get Demaryius Thomas on this podcast one day. So that, losing guys like him, it hurts to see guys like that get taken away from us at such a young age. So, we know he's up there smiling down on us as we're talking about him on the podcast. Now, Dustin, the Broncos running game got it going. Melvin Gordon and rookie Javonte Williams combined for 2 touchdowns apiece. Javonte Williams coming on of late, 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. The Broncos are 7-6, will probably not make the playoffs, but they got a nice, bright, young running back in Javonte Williams.
Absolutely, which is why in the offseason they need to go out and get Aaron Rodgers, because if you put Rodgers on that team,
yeah,
they're an instant Super Bowl contender.
Now,
Manning.
Yep. Now, Chico, next week, week 15, the 7-6 Broncos host the 7-6 Bengals. Now, we saw clutch Joe Burrow this week, and Jamar Chase, that's a hell of a combination, along with Joe Mixon at running back. Do you see the Bengals going into Denver and getting a grown-ass victory, a big victory? I mean, this isn't something you expect from the Bengals, to go into Denver in December and get a win that will probably get them into the playoffs. Do you think this team is capable of that? Is Joe Burrow big? Is Joe Burrow big time? Do you believe in him?
I do. I do. I like him right now the most out of every quarterback in that division.
Yeah.
Mainly because he's the healthiest and he has the most help.
Yep.
He actually has. He's probably underproduced pretty much this whole season, because they should be the number 1 in that division right now. Looking how everyone has been playing. I'm all for him. I thought he could have won Rookie of the Year, but he got hurt.
Yeah.
And everyone was loving on the dude from LA, and I'm not sold on him. I'm pretty much sold on Joe Burrow. He's too calm, cool, and collected, and he's got a nice little arsenal for his receivers.
Yep.
And a decent run game in Mixon. And Mixon's got almost 1,000 yards this year already.
Mixon's a beast, man. I've always been a fan of his.
It's very funny that he's almost got 1,000 yards week 15, going into week 15, and Derrick Henry hasn't played since week 8, and still top 5 running back.
Yeah,
that's why I just don't. People don't understand how great he was on. He was on pace to get two bills again.
Yeah,
he was probably going to break the record.
Yep.
And
the thing is,
right now,
the Titans might get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs.
They better not.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't tear his ACL?
I think that I don't know.
Foot.
They said there was a chance he could be back. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if he broke his foot, then yeah. But
yeah,
if he tore something, then stay away.
Dustin, I mean, we were just talking about Joe Burrow and how well the Bengals have surprised a lot of us and played so well and been so competitive in a very tough division. The Bengals played a barn burner against the Niners on Sunday. A big-ass game. You would expect, a lot of us expected the Bengals to win this. But here come the Niners out of nowhere with Jimmy Garoppolo and Elijah Mitchell and these guys and making it work. That defense is going. George Kittle is going straight monster mode right now. And a huge, overtime win? Yeah, 26-23 overtime win in Cincy. What do you think of what the Niners did on Sunday?
I like the win, and if if George Kittle continues to play like that, and the Niners make the playoffs, watch out.
Yeah, this is going to surprise you guys. But I think if there's one team in the NFC West, and I'm talking between the Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, and Niners, that I think could surprise people and go on a deep playoff run, I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers. For real.
I'm picking
Huh?
I'm picking Arizona, and don't laugh at me, Alex.
I don't need to laugh. You owe me a bunch of drinks.
I'm laughing at you for picking the 49ers. Who's their quarterback?
Jimmy G, baby.
Yeah, exactly. He's too busy with the porn stars.
Super Bowl, though.
Huh?
He's been to the Super Bowl, though. You can't knock that.
And the thing
So
is,
is Jared Goff.
the thing is, the Niners don't go to the Super Bowl on Jimmy Garoppolo's back. They go on a great running game and a great defense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. It wasn't because of him. The same reason it wasn't because of Jared Goff that they went to the Super Bowl that year.
Chico, how can you say that based on the year Jared Goff is having in Detroit?
Bro, I swear, if you don't stop, their team he's so I don't understand this narrative with these athletes that after so long being in the league, you see that you can't produce.
Yeah.
Get the bag.
Yep.
Be a backup quarterback for 15 years
and
get money.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be getting $10 million a year just to hold a clipboard. Thank you.
Now, to that point, you were talking about Joe Burrow, Chico. I mean, he goes on a big-time drive with the backs against the wall, down 7. He was even down 14, and a clutch drive to tie the game to force it into overtime. I mean, we've seen it at LSU when he put the Tigers on his back and won a national championship. I agree with you. I think Joe Burrow's got the it factor. And if they can get into the playoffs, maybe they can surprise and pull an upset.
Depends on the matchup.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that it's going to be between I can't even think of a good divisional rival right now because basically
let's say the Ravens win the division and it's Ravens-Bengals in the first round. That'd be a lot of fun.
Ravens-Bengals, yeah. So I think that's going to be the matchup for the next 10 years. It's going to be between the Bengals and the Ravens.
Lamar versus Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's pretty much they're the class of their division, and it's really not even close. They're going to be the new Ravens Steelers until they get a new quarterback. But
now,
I really like Joe.
Now, Dustin, what do you think on those Bengals? I mean, because it's a big ass win for the Niners to get to 7-6. With the Bengals, big loss there to fall to 7-6, and who the Bengals play next? I had this written down. Bengals play at Broncos. What do you think the chances are Cincy goes into Denver and gets that win?
Oh yeah, I think Cincy wins that game just because, man, I don't like Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, not as a person, but I don't trust him.
Yeah, as a quarterback, yeah. Now, the Bills at Bucks. I talked about this last week, Dustin, that the Bills, suffering a tough loss. Who'd they lose to last week?
New England?
Yeah, suffering that loss to New England. And then they actually were competitive but couldn't pull out the win, losing in overtime to Tampa Bay. Where do you think the Bills' confidence is sitting at 7-6? And, on a borderline, might make the playoffs, might not.
Yeah, confidence has got to be pretty low. And, I mean, Josh Allen being in question, you've seen him in a walking boot. So
yeah, post-game, yeah.
And I believe they still have New England and Miami left, right?
Yep.
Man, those are two tough divisional games and very losable games.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. Chico, what's your thought on Tampa Bay? I feel like the X factor in Tampa Bay, I mean, you got Tom Brady, you got Gronk, you got, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all these weapons. To me, I think the X factor in Tampa Bay is running back Leonard Fournette, running the rock like he's back in Jacksonville. Straight beast mode.
Well, you mean back in Louisiana, because he wasn't really doing much in Jacksonville. But I think that
he was a beast.
He's definitely a very solid running back. I don't think he's the X factor. I still think that's Gronk. I mean, like he turned back the clock a couple of years these past couple of games and has been balling his butt off. I like the Tampa Bay. I think they're starting to round into form when it comes to their offense, but I don't really. It's basically right now. I don't know if they can get out of that NFC. I really don't. I don't think they're getting out to represent NFC in the Super Bowl.
The Bucks?
So, yeah.
Man, who's going to beat them?
Green Bay?
I can see Green Bay, or I can see any team out of the – or not any team, but I can see the Rams or the honestly, no. It's basically Green Bay and the Rams. Those are only two teams I can see beating them.
Here, this is what I'll say.
I don't trust Arizona.
This is what I'll say.
What about Dallas?
But they're not getting out the first round. They done. They're done.
I like it.
I don't trust them at all. And they, as of right now, if everything stands packed and the Arizona Cardinals keep winning and just keep that the division out of reach for the Rams, they got to play the Rams first round. They getting cooked. Aaron Donald is looking like he wants to win that Defensive Player of the Year award. The way he played last week or this past Sunday, that looked like Reggie White.
Here's what I'll say to that. If you think Matthew Stafford is going to outduel Tom Brady in the playoffs, you got another thing coming.
Well, you're tripping if you think that him losing any Super Bowl or any playoffs is predicated on the quarterback. It's never have been. It's always predicated on the defense that he plays. He's not dueling these quarterbacks. He's dueling the defenses. That's why when Peyton Manning won his Super Bowl, they went down to the wire in I forget where's in Denver. Mm-hmm. That defense was all over Tom Brady. All over him. Von Miller ate him alive.
Well, that's how you beat Tom Brady.
All I know is
that's true.
That's what I'm saying though. This ain't got nothing to do with the quarterback. Every time he lost those Super Bowls is because of that defense.
That's true.
So he ain't go. I don't care what's the name does. He would have lost that game against what's the team over against the Rams that year when he got a 6th ring. He would have lost that if they would have had Cooper Kupp.
I don't know about that, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
If they would have had Cooper Kupp, they would have had a better chance of getting 3 points.
But I think so. It takes, in my opinion, it takes a special defense to beat Tom Brady, and I just don't see that out there. And I know Dustin, you like Green Bay chances against Tampa Bay, but Tom Brady went into Lambeau last year and won the NFC Championship game.
Without 81,000 people, though.
That's true. You put that much stock in those cheeseheads.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. Okay?
Yeah.
If it comes down to Tampa Bay and Green Bay, I honestly think Green Bay wins that game because for one, it's going to be at Lambeau. For two, the Packers have a better defense than they did last year too.
Yeah, but did you see the Packers special teams on Sunday night?
I mean, yeah, but
the Bears almost beat that team.
Grant was their player. Jakeem Grant is going to be a good player, so.
Well, I mean, so that's something the Packers are going to have to keep an eye on. I agree their defense is playing better, and that's predicated a lot. Rasul Douglas, one of their corners, is balling out this year, and that's a big upgrade over what Kevin King was doing. He was the, weak link last year.
Of course, I mean, I'm a diehard Colts fan, but my favorite player in the NFL is Aaron Rodgers. So,
really?
Yeah, well,
Aaron. I mean, he has the prettiest ball I've ever seen. Like when
very
he throws
accurate.
That ball,
yeah.
No, not even that. Just the actual throwing motion is better.
He's the most talented quarterback.
Well, here's what I'll say. I got a good stat for you guys. Someone tweeted this after the Bears-Packers game on Sunday night. They said, "Don't let this Packers win take your mind off the fact that Aaron Rodgers has the exact same amount of NFC Championship wins as Rex Grossman."
Yeah, that's true. But he also has a Super Bowl.
That's
Rex
true.
don't.
Oh,
That's all right.
And how many MVPs he got? I mean, like, let's be real. The team up there in Wisconsin has squandered his youth.
Yes.
Let's call it like it is.
They should have more Super
4 years
Bowls.
of having him on the bench. 4 years of having him on the bench. And then all those years with a terrible team. The one good time they had a decent couple of years is when they got the Hall of Fame cornerback from Michigan to actually do something. And they started to make a little bit of noise those 2 years, and almost had an undefeated season, but they lost to the Giants.
Yep.
I just don't. That's why I said I'm done with these GMs making all of this money for doing nothing.
Now, Dustin, are you worried at all? Aaron Rodgers said post-game on Sunday night that his fractured toe feels worse, but surgery is last resort. How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers' health coming down here, already with a fractured toe, going into, we're not, going through December and into the playoffs?
I'm not worried about it. I mean, I've seen this man play with a sprained knee and still dice teams up. So,
all right. Well, it's going to have to be as close to 100% as possible to beat beat Tom Brady and the Bucs if they match up. Now, what are your thoughts? Huh?
I mean, being co-owner of the Bears is pretty impressive. So.
No, it's not. The Bears have been trash for years. How is that?
I mean,
how is that impressive?
Maybe Rodgers in the offseason will have some say on if he wants to keep Nagy in Chicago or not.
So you consider beating Mitch Trubisky? You want to put that on your mantle? Hey, I beat Mitch Trubisky a couple times.
He's beat damn near every quarterback the Bears have had since he's been there.
Yeah, and who have the Bears quarterbacks been? Oh, I beat Mitch Trubisky. I beat Mike Glennon. I beat Nick Foles. Oh, I didn't even play Nick Foles. I beat Andy Dalton. Congrats.
I mean, they're down. They could have had Deshaun Watson.
Exactly. I mean, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. Sure, I'll say that all day, but he doesn't own the NFC.
No, just the division.
Yep. All right, you got me fired up, Dustin. Now, Packers-Ravens. Packers-Ravens, a big game. Lamar Jackson should play. You got the Packers, I'm sure, Dustin.
Oh, yeah. I got the Packers big.
Okay. What do you think, Chico? I mean, that should be a good game, I think. I think the Ravens keep it very competitive. The Ravens might win it.
Yeah, both of these are probably like my top 5 quarterbacks to watch
in
the NFL. And this might not even. Where is this at? This is in Green Bay, right?
I think so. Let me look here.
Yeah, if it's in Green, this.
No, it's in Baltimore.
All right, so then, they're gonna beat them by 2 touchdowns at least.
Who?
It could get up. The Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
But it could get ugly if they get up early. They could get real ugly.
So Ravens fans, man, if the Ravens lose that game at home, they'll be on a 3-game losing streak and sitting at just 8-6. So the Ravens need to start feeling that, they got to start winning big games here down the stretch.
They're going to back into the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
It's not even up for it. They're going to back in because the whole division is pretty much garbage.
That division.
The only way they can lose it is if Cincinnati puts it together.
Yep.
They're the only team that's going to beat it.
That division's eating their own. They're so good, they're just eating their own and fucking everybody up. Now, Dustin, so me and you talked a lot about going into this game, Rams-Cardinals in Arizona. The Cardinals red hot, the best record in the NFL. And then right before kickoff, we all found out that Jalen Ramsey was going to miss the game due to testing positive for COVID, along with a couple tight ends, like 5 Rams players missed the game. You told me early on in the game, you're like, man, if the Cardinals lose this without all those guys, that's going to be a big time loss. Dustin, I know you were rooting for the Cardinals. What's your takeaway from watching that game, rooting for the Cardinals and trying to see if the Cardinals are for real?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sit here right now and admit to you, I was wrong. You know, I thought hey, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. I thought the Cardinals were gonna win this game, honestly. But if you can't win without, arguably the Rams' best defensive player, and I'm saying arguably,
Yeah.
With Jalen Ramsey out, and then a couple other injuries. The Rams tight end, I believe, was injured too.
Yeah.
So
2 of them.
If you can't win like that, you can't expect to win in January.
Well, what's wrong? What do you see? What's the issue in Arizona? Why did they lose that game?
Kyler Murray's decision making, man.
Yeah. What about Cliff Kingsbury, though? Is he part of it?
Well, I mean, he's the head coach, so obviously.
And the offensive play caller, yeah.
Murray was just turning the ball over.
Yeah, you can't turn the ball over in big games, and you have to maximize, every drive. You got to get points. And there was some turnover on downs by Cliff Kingsbury. There was some weird decisions there. What do you think? I mean, Matthew Stafford had a hell of a game in prime time on the road. He balled out.
Yeah. That for sure just how good he could be.
What do you think, Chico? I mean, that game last night shows you what the Rams can be. And if the Rams play like that, I agree. They can go deep. They can go to the NFC Championship game. And everyone in L.A., all the Rams people in that building and all their fans are saying this is championship or bust. Is it fair to put that much pressure on Stafford and the Rams? Are you holding them to that standard, championship or bust? Or do you want to see how far they can go?
So 2 things. One, the organization is doing everything they can to put out a winner.
Yeah.
All the draft picks to get players that actually can play right now, they're all in their prime, and go out there to try to win right now. Because it ain't a guarantee that it's going to work next year anyway.
Yep.
They going out getting Odell and Ramsey and Von Miller and a couple other players. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. You ain't got nothing else to lose. I'm all for it. And Aaron Donald came out there looking like freaking a man possessed the first play of the possession of the game. I mean, like, I'm watching him play, and I'm like, he can literally carry his team to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's how dominant that man is.
Yeah.
It is scary, and that quarterback is very elusive and very quick, and he just destroyed that offensive line. And that's why I'm always going to go with a defensive player over an offensive player. Or a defensive lineman like him. He's going to win every time. I don't believe that it was all the quarterback's fault because some of those 4th and 2 and 4th and 1s, I know this is a big game and you want to make a statement and you want to keep drives alive, but dog, some of those play calls were just very suspect. And I mean, there was no imagination with them at all. It was like Michigan playing back in like 2 years ago. Everyone knows what they're going to do. There was no imagination offensively at all.
That's my point. That's been my point with this Cardinals, and that's what's going to hold them back the most. I've been saying I believe in Kyler Murray. I think that he is a rare talent that's very difficult to defend. And you saw some of that last night. Even though he was struggling a little bit and the team was struggling, his athleticism and ability to buy time and with his legs and pick up first downs and avoid the pass rush makes him very dangerous. And I love the addition of James Conner at running back, but I mean, you can't leave points on the board. Kyler Murray did miss A.J. Green, who was open in the end zone at one point, and Cliff Kingsbury was
bad.
Yeah, that was a big miss. And Cliff Kingsbury, I've been saying this for 2 to 3 years now. Ever since I feel the same about Cliff Kingsbury that I feel about Urban Meyer. It was a terrible hire and it's a terrible fit. And if the Cardinals will move on from him and give Kyler Murray a real head coach and a real play caller, watch the Cardinals take off. But until they move on from Cliff Kingsbury, it's not going to happen.
The problem is when people say just fire a coach, you got to have a replacement set up in mind.
Yep.
I mean, I know there's lots of coaches that we don't always know about.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're having the best season they've had since they went to the conference championship against Cam, and
before
they went to the Super Bowl.
Since Carson Palmer.
He was, don't get me started with him, but I just think that, I think that they're set up very well. The organization did try to win now by going out and getting Hopkins.
Yep.
Now, they didn't try too hard because Houston was just having a wholesale on the best player they had. But
hey, if you tell me I can give up David Johnson and get DeAndre Hopkins, I'm doing that every day.
I like Johnson when his rookie year and
early on, yeah.
He's I don't even know if he's in the league right now.
He is, but he's buried in Houston. He's on the Texans.
Oh.
Poor guy. Dustin, so do you think the Cardinals, all right, it's a tough loss at home to the Rams. Now they've got a 1-game lead in the division. They're playing the Lions next. That should be a win. But what do you think of the Cardinals, being right there a contender? Can they win playoff games as they're constructed? What do you think?
Well, after Monday, I'm not putting my trust in them, okay? They done broke my heart because I want to be right so bad. But,
well, I was talking so much shit, and yeah.
Well, I don't see Kyler Murray being able to do that right now. He's taking strides, but he's not taking strides enough to compete in the playoffs.
That's the thing, is that you can look at the regular season and be like, that guy's damn good, or that guy had a bad game, but the playoffs is a whole different animal. And if you don't play if you don't play at your very best in the wild card round, then you're not getting past the wild card round. And that's why it takes baby steps and it takes experience. Very rarely do you see a quarterback come in with 0 playoff experience and go on a deep playoff run. And that's what separated Patrick Mahomes from the pack. That's what made Patrick Mahomes so special, is that he came in right away and was like, we're going to the AFC Championship game. And the only thing that stopped Mahomes from winning, from like fucking three-peating, is the GOAT, Tom Brady. Go ahead.
Okay. So the issue with that statement you made, he wasn't the first overall pick. He wasn't going to the worst team in the league.
Yep.
The Chiefs moved.
He went to a great team. I agree.
Yeah, that team was like, they won like 10 games in a row for like 3 years or something. They had Alex Smith there, so they were a very solid team. He went to a ready-made team, just like Tom Brady did. That's why he had success early.
Yep.
So he's not doing a Peyton Manning, a full rebuild.
Yeah.
And that dude in Arizona is. Now, they got pretty good with getting Hopkins. I still can't believe they got it. It's been a while now since he's been there, and I'm still shocked.
Well, you talk about D-Hop, and I'm going to throw at you tight end Zach Ertz, who they picked up this season. The Cardinals are being, like the Rams, they're being aggressive trying to win now. And I think when you're aggressive trying to win now and you don't have the head coach to run the entire thing, you're setting yourself up for failure. To me, Cliff Kingsbury reminds me a lot of Matt Nagy.
Okay, so if you have one of the best records in the league, and then you go deep in the playoffs, your first round pick is not going to be high.
Yeah,
anyway. You're not going to get one of these top 10 coveted players. So it doesn't matter. Give your first round pick away. That's why the NBA, they don't really care about picks really, because it's only going to be 3 players out of that whole draft that does anything.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL, you can get lucky and get you a 6th round amazing player like Tom Brady, or 5th round like Sherman.
Yep.
So it's all about scouting, and like I said, the people are being lazy. I just don't believe in that team in Arizona. Now he gets into the playoffs and starts balling like he's doing in the postseason or the regular season, then I'll shut my mouth.
Same.
But I'm just not. I'm talking about as the team is constructed.
Yeah.
I think Tyler will play good, though. I think he'll do like Matt Stafford did when he went to the playoffs those 3 years, put up very good numbers, but just didn't have any type of defense or any type of running game to help them out.
That was the thing, because the Cardinals were kind of hanging in there, and then they give up like that deep bomb to Van Jefferson, and now they're down 2 scores again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's go to our Week 15 picks and get out of here with this. So we're gonna each make our prediction. So Thursday Night Football. This is must watch. If you're listening, watch this fucking game. This is gonna be a great game. Chiefs at Chargers. I think you guys already made your picks, but go ahead, Chico. Who you got?
Oh, I got Chiefs by 10.
All right, and they're red hot. 6-game winning streak. Can they make it 7? Do you agree, Dustin?
Absolutely. Chiefs by 2 scores.
All right, I'm going the opposite. I got the Chargers winning this game and sweeping the Chiefs on the season and ending their 6-game winning streak.
What's the number?
It's so different.
What's the number you got for them? How much they gonna win by?
It's gonna be a very tough game. I think Chargers win by like 2 or 3 points. They're just gonna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard fought. The Chiefs are playing such great football right now, but the Chargers are gonna come in ready to go. So it's gonna be a playoff atmosphere at SoFi. On Saturday, the 6-7 Raiders at the 7-6 Browns. Like Dustin said, I believe the Raiders are kind of showing you signs like they're quitting and giving up on the season. So for that reason, I think the Browns win. This is a must-win for the Browns, bro. If they don't win this game, put a tag on them. They're done. Give them a body bag. What do you think, Dustin? I think you already said Browns, right?
Absolutely. I'm going Cleveland, and I'm going to go Cleveland by double digits.
Yeah, I mean, if they win out like that, then they'll prove some stuff. But I think it'll be hard fought. What do you think, Chico?
This is in Cleveland.
Yep.
My head is telling me that the Browns are probably going to win because they have a better team. But I'm not. I think I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Okay, and
I'm really not into
to Baker and them Browns. I agree. They got some major question marks.
And they got mollywop.
Yeah. Now
they got mollywop.
Dustin, I mean,
I think they will come focused.
We're gonna have to remind Tito of your prediction there. The Browns by double digits. I mean, he's not gonna be happy when he comes on after the Colts Raiders game.
Yeah, well, Tito, I apologize, but I'm just my knowledge. That's all.
No, I mean the Raiders do look like they're quitting, and they when you get beat by the Chiefs by like 40-some points, you're quitting. So
is that quitting if you're getting beat by a clearly superior team
by 40? By 40?
Derek Carr was up there. What do you mean? They got NBA players getting beat by 70. Don't mean they didn't try.
NBA is different than NFL. You can't get beat by 40. That's by like
70?
That's like a no heart loss.
70.
Well, the NBA, that's an entirely different conversation with the NBA. But all right, here's a great game. I know you're going to be interested in this, Dustin. Your Colts hosting the red hot New England Patriots. Patriots on a 6-game winning streak. Maybe 7. Yeah, 7-game winning streak. Both teams coming off their bye, so both teams had extra time to prepare. This is a playoff game. This is like the week off to prepare. 2 playoff-worthy teams. This is a playoff game on Saturday night. Patriots at Colts. I can't wait for this game. Dustin, Chico, let's have you make your pick first.
Yeah, see, this one, I didn't realize the Patriots were coming off of a bye.
Yep.
I was picking the Colts all day, but they coming off of a bye and a win, and it's in Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean,
at Lucas Oil.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Patriots because the way they've been playing, that defense is looking pretty Super Bowl-ish.
I agree.
I like that quarterback too. Like he's a solid. But I hope they open the book up on him a little bit more, or the playbook. I mean,
yeah,
because they're very, very conservative. But I like Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I like him. He's probably one of my favorite rookies right now.
Dustin, I mean, how are you feeling? This is a major prove-it game for the Colts. They've been playing better of late. They got one of the best running backs in the game with Jonathan Taylor. This is a big prove-it game for Frank Reich and Carson Wentz to see if they can put up enough points on this really nasty Patriot defense. I mean, they're at home. They need to win this game. You don't want to fall to 7-7. How are you feeling?
Well, two things. Actually, I think the Colts lead the league in turnovers.
Okay.
Turnovers, and I think they actually lead the league in scoring right now.
Turnover? You mean turnover differential? Like they're the best at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing, 2 words, Jonathan Taylor, feed the rock. If Jonathan Taylor goes over 100, New England loses this ball game, and that's a guarantee.
Okay.
We can put money on that. You talking about guarantee? They guarantee to win if he gets over 100.
Dustin,
bro, good back.
I hate to be the guy. Dustin. But New England is going to win this game. They're the best. New England, to me, is going to the Super Bowl. That's where I believe with them right now.
Ooh.
They protect the ball. Mac Jones does just enough to win. Their running game is solid, and that defense is effing nasty. That defense is a motherfucker. And with Bill Belichick running the show, this looks a lot like the 2001 Patriots. And, huh?
Oh, I know what you're doing.
You better hope they don't have to go through Arrowhead, and then you might have to reconsider what you just said.
You think I'm reconsidering? If the Patriots have to go into Arrowhead, I'm doubling down and saying the Patriots are going into Arrowhead and stealing that one.
You're going to take Jones over Mahomes?
I am. No, I'm going to take Bill Belichick over Mahomes.
I was about to say, you better say Bill
Yeah.
Belichick. I think what you want is you want the
rematch.
Tampa Bay versus versus the Patriots.
Yep.
We can settle this once and for all. Who really got the better
Brady
team.
versus Belichick in the Super Bowl.
But who would really be I still think they made the right choice by moving off of Brady. I'm sorry.
I think so too, but that would be the ultimate, that's a pick'em game. It's hard to predict who's going to win that. But so
the NFL's going to get what the NFL wants.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, hopefully the officiating's been so bad this year. I really, really hope the officiating doesn't play a major role in the playoffs because the officiating's been so much trash, man.
All right, Alex, real quick, double or nothing on the drinks for the Colts Patriots.
Yeah. Well, let's not do double or nothing, but we'll put some drinks on it for sure.
All right, man. You probably about to get drunk, but oh well.
Well, I'm just looking forward to the game. The game's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, nothing else going on a Saturday night. College football's taking a break right now, so this is going to be must-watch football.
I got my shirt. I got my hat. I got everything ready for the game on Saturday. Go Indy.
All right. So the Steelers, Titans at Steelers on Sunday. The Steelers hanging by a thread at 500, 6-6-1. The Titans playing pretty good ball at 9-4, but they're banged up or whatever. Dustin, I think you picked the Steelers to find a way to win. You just want to see the Titans lose, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think the Steelers are good enough to pull that victory off, though?
Not really, but I just don't want to see the Titans win.
Feed Najee Harris. That's the only way they're doing it. I'm actually taking the Steelers. What do you think, Chico?
Yeah, see, I don't like the only two people I like on that team is going to be Julio and Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry's out.
Yep.
I do not trust Tannehill at all. I just don't know how they're even remotely in the hunt.
You know why? Because Tannehill's better than you're giving him credit for. He is.
Overrated.
He's good, though.
Overrated.
And he can run the ball. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying he's not athletic.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, everyone judges you by your pay, too.
Yep.
How much you getting paid and what you produce.
Yeah.
And people just act like he doesn't get paid a crap ton of money and is basically just handing the ball up to Derrick Henry, getting wins for his no.
He needs Derrick Henry, though. I agree. Without Derrick Henry...
I really...
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Julio's hurt, and AJ might be banged up too.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna go with the other team.
Okay, with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, Bengals at Broncos. We don't need to, I say Bengals go into Denver. I don't trust the Broncos offense. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, those guys have been really impressing me. I know they just lost to San Francisco. I mean, do either of you guys see Denver? Like maybe defensively they can shut them down and find a win. It's on the road, but I don't see the Broncos beating the Bengals. I really don't.
No, I'm going Cincinnati.
Yeah, do you agree, Chico?
I want to see that matchup with Chase
Against Surtain.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That has me thinking of Randy Moss and Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Like two players that are top 5 in their rookie class to be offensive and defensive rookie of the year.
All right.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's a pick'em game.
I think Niners beat the Falcons to get to 8-6. That'd be a big win for the Niners. Let's go. Seahawks at Rams. 5-8 Seahawks hanging by a thread. They need to win out. The Rams are 9-4 coming off. They went on a 3-game losing streak, and Stafford had 3 straight pick sixes in those games. But then they go into Arizona and win a huge-ass Monday night game, and Stafford doesn't turn the ball over and looks unstoppable.
Rams.
Dustin?
Yeah, I'm going LA, and I'm actually going to go LA big.
Yeah, I got him by at least 2 touchdowns, too.
I got the Seattle Seahawks. I got the Seattle Seahawks going into LA and winning this game. They need it. Gotta see
it. Need it all they want.
Hey, I'm out here in Seattle. I gotta say something nice about him. But no, I mean, we'll see. Russell Wilson's got to play the game of his life. Packers at Ravens. We talked a little bit about this.
Packers.
I'm leaning Packers too. What about you, Dustin?
I said
Packers
earlier,
yeah, Packers big.
I think Packers big, man.
Yeah.
I think
if they get up early, then it's Packers big.
I think it's going to be a very competitive game, but I got Packers in the end. If anything, if the Ravens find a way to win, it's going to be on a Justin Tucker field goal as time expires.
Is Jackson playing?
He's expected to, yes. The injury wasn't as bad as people thought. It's just a sprained ankle. It's not even a high sprained ankle. So they're expecting him to play.
Yeah, but he's still not.
He's not going to.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's not going to be 100%. So that's why they're gonna no.
Taysom Hill and the Saints at the Bucks. The Saints trying to sweep the Bucks. The Saints have had Tom Brady's number. Tom Brady hasn't beaten the Saints in the regular season as a Buck. I think he pulls it out this time, though.
Yeah, this is completely different.
Yeah.
The Bucks win by 2 scores.
I think so, but maybe the Saints will keep it close. I got the Bucks, though. What about you, Chico?
Oh, this is going to be a Ravens, or not a Ravens, but a Chiefs-Raiders situation.
Oh, blowout.
Close to 40. Oh, it's going to be disgusting. They're going to be pulling Tom Brady out midway through the third quarter.
All right, and then Monday Night Football, you got the Vikings who are 6-7. They need this win. They got to get back to 500. They need to pretty much win out to find a way to sneak into the playoffs. Vikings at the Bears. Justin Fields and the Bears. Fire Matt Nagy. Get him the hell out of town. Dustin?
The Bears played a decent ball game against Green Bay for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay? And the Vikings don't have Aaron Rodgers. That's the big difference. So
They do have Kirk Cousins, though.
Oh, come on. Kirk Cousins, man. The Vikings could currently be damn near undefeated right now, but they can't finish games. So
yeah,
if Chicago can get up on them early, I'm going to take the Bears for an upset.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I'm not going to pick it necessarily, but I could see it. What do you think, Chico?
Bears versus Vikings.
In Chicago. Could be bad weather.
I'm not really caring about that because it's a divisional game. So
yeah.
Divisional games typically run a little bit closer, but I'm really not liking how Justin Fields has been playing.
Yeah.
and I can't even name one of your receivers. So
Allen Robinson. What do you think on that, Chico? You've seen a little bit of Justin Fields. Did they miss on the pick, in your opinion, or is he struggling because of the offense? I mean, Matt Nagy's terrible.
Well, I mean, they fumbled the ball from the beginning.
Yeah.
They should have sat his butt down half of the year, or just they basically were scared to play him because of the love they have for Andy Dalton for some reason. I don't know
for no reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for you know what I'm saying. I don't see why you guys really care what's going on with that, but they screwed the pooch with it, and he's not ready. Like, he wasn't ready when he got into the league.
Yeah,
you could see he wasn't ready.
I'm
not a quarterback guru, but you could see it. Like, he just was not reading anything, and they only had 6 plays. And I could even see, I'm like, that's the same play they did 4 plays ago.
Yep.
It was no, he's just not ready, and that's okay.
You know how you ruin a young quarterback with a lot of promise? You get him hit and sacked more than, a very high amount. And when Mitch Trubisky didn't work out in Chicago, and he was a high pick, he got sacked.
It was a reach.
Well, but he was going to go in the first round, regardless. I don't care what you say, Trubisky was going to get picked by somebody in the first round. So he was a first-round quarterback. Maybe not talent-wise, but he was going first round. So the Bears reached for him, but he got sacked 31 times in 2017 for the whole season. Justin Fields, as of right now, has been sacked 31 times already with a few games to go. The Bears are getting Justin Fields killed. The Browns and Myles Garrett sacked him 4 times. They're not protecting him, and they're running a shit offense. They should be running it behind David Montgomery, and they're not doing it, and they're leaving Justin Fields out to die. So I'm worried, and they should have never given Justin Fields any time with Matt Nagy, but they did. And
running quarterbacks usually get more sacks than people realize.
Yeah, but they're not blocking them.
Running quarterback,
they're not protecting them.
But I'm not saying that, but running quarterbacks typically get sacked more because they think they can elude the tackles. And I'm with you with the whole Mitch Trubisky thing. I knew he was a bust when they drafted him. Every year it's always 3 busts. He went to the
playoffs twice though.
He didn't get to the playoffs when y'all traded for that big boy in
Khalil Mack,
Buffalo. Yes, that's what made y'all get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason why.
What do you think?
He's been having a slide of a year. That's why.
What do you think, Dustin? Are you worried about Justin Fields' development in Chicago? I mean, there are certain teams that struggle to develop, young quarterbacks. The Jets being one, with how they're handling not only Sam Darnold, but now Zach Wilson. The Jaguars are mishandling Trevor Lawrence. And you can put the Bears in the same conversation with struggling to develop Justin Fields so far. How do you feel about Justin Fields?
Look, so far I agree, but I don't think it's going to ruin his future development. But if I was the Bears, I'd get the guy in there right now.
Yeah, fire Nagy now. And the thing is, though, I don't trust our ownership to hire the right head coach for Justin Fields in the future. Nagy's terrible now, but just because we're going to fire Nagy doesn't mean we're going to hire the right guy to develop him next.
Get the guy out of Columbus, Ohio. I really think him and Justin Fields could do some damage.
Yep. Ryan Day.
I think you're misunderstanding something, though.
What?
When you look at the dude from Clemson, the quarterback that went number 1 overall.
Deshaun Watson. Draft. He didn't go number 1 overall, but I know what you're saying. Trevor Lawrence. Okay.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence went number 1 overall. He got into the league. People weren't questioning, does he understand the playbook?
Yeah.
They were questioning that about Justin Fields.
Yeah, but that's kind of a fake narrative. There's been a lot of that.
You already know the undertones to that part.
Yeah.
But it was obvious that he wasn't ready though. He wasn't grasping, reading the defense.
And this is what I'll tell you. I agree with you, but So how do you bring a young quarterback like that on, and how do you sit him for as long as possible? Why did Aaron Rodgers sit for so long? Because he sat behind Brett Favre. Why did Patrick Mahomes sit for almost a year? Because he sat behind Alex Smith, who was killing it. Yes. Why does Trey Lance get to sit for most of the year? Because Jimmy Garoppolo's there. You've got to have a quarterback that can play well enough to keep you sidelined. And that was the issue with signing Andy Dalton in the fucking first place, is Andy Dalton sucks. And so you play Andy Dalton for 2 weeks and then he gets hurt and then you're forced to put in Justin Fields. That's the issue.
When you draft him in the first round, you have to understand you're going to be putting him in the game soon.
Yeah.
You don't draft the first round quarterback.
But Mahomes sat.
You're going to put him in the game.
And Trey Lance is sitting.
He sat. And so did Lamar.
Yeah.
But what happened? They all got in at some point.
And
then it could be earlier and it could be later. NFL is fickle when it comes to injuries. He just wasn't ready, man. That's what it boils down to. The dude just was not ready.
And I think, all right, so what you're going to see out of the Bears, you're going to see a major retool this offseason. You're going to see Allen Robinson's gone. Jimmy Graham gone. Tariq Cohen gone. Matt Nagy gone. It's going to be a completely new-looking offense surrounding Justin Fields, and my hope is he'll look a lot better next year. But we're the Bears. Tell me the last time we developed a young quarterback properly. Tell me.
That's every team, though.
No. Not in fucking Green Bay. They went from Brett Favre, who was nobody when they brought him in, turned him into a Hall of Famer, and Aaron Rodgers was... Who was Aaron Rodgers when... Huh?
They turned him into a Hall of Famer?
Yes. The Packers turned Brett into a Hall of Famer, and the Packers turned Aaron Rodgers into a Hall of Famer.
They did not turn Aaron Rodgers. They were talking about Aaron Rodgers being number one overall. So
yeah, but he wasn't a finished product. Dustin, who was Aaron Rodgers coming out of Cal?
I mean, they were talking about him being number one. I agree with that.
But
he did sit behind Brett Favre, and that matters.
Yeah. We could do this forever. I'm going to let you guys... We're going to get out of here on this. It's been a long episode. I loved it, though. It was great shit. Thanks for coming on, Chico.
No problem, bro. I'm sorry. I started to eat. I was getting hungry, dog.
No, you're straight.
Nice to meet you, Chico.
You too, man.
Good.
We're going to have to talk about something more fun next time. We're going to talk about basketball.
Oh, we can. Hey, if you guys, we can talk about the Lions for another half an hour.
Yeah, you sound funny.
Or we can talk about how Georgia's about to beat Michigan's ass. Oh, but anyways. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a great week. Thanks, Chico. Thanks, Dustin. And we'll get this shit posted soon. Peace.
All right, bro.
Out.
Take care.
Later.
Bro, that was some good shit.